guys, get ready because today we have a 1,400-page PowerPoint presentation. I know you're excited. I'm excited. Let's get it started. We don't have a 1,400 page. It's 10 pages. It's open office. I'm not going to give Microsoft any more money unless I absolutely have to. So we're talking about 2v2 RTA theory crafting today. Yes, we're theory crafting because the content is not out yet. I know some people don't like the videos where like, oh, it's not out yet. How do you even know? I mean, we're just basically theory crafting. Also, so we can kind of get ready and be prepared in advance for when the content comes out. Also, I do want to mention a couple things in here that I think might be helpful for you guys. But again, the content hasn't come out yet. But I just think that it's good to have a discussion and kind of wrap our heads around how it's going to be. You guys like, Bagel, we're not even going to play 2v2. We're talking about theory crafting and discussion. Like, here's my discussion. I'm going to not play the content, and I'm going to go play Genshin Impact, and I'll log into Summoner's War twice a week and do some summons. So I thought it'd be nice to at least kind of have like a little discussion, have like a little bit of see some things in advance, theory craft before the content comes out. For the three of you that are actually watching this that are going to be doing 2v2 RTA. So I think that it's interesting to note that this is one of the first splash screens that actually makes sense for the content. Sometimes we see like the Rift of Worlds splash screen, and it's like, hey, Rift of Worlds, and it's like you see monsters fighting the Rift Beast that have nothing to do with the actual battle, and like no one's actually using those in the Rift Beast. You're like, why'd they choose that? Why'd they choose Camila to fight the Rift Beast? No one's bringing Camila. It's like, you know, there's that one person, Challenger 3 player, that is like, I'm bringing Camila in for the Rift Beast for R5. Camila's going to be super sick frontline. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, so these are actually units that you see in RTA. You see Tianlang, you see Savannah, you see... Actually, I've been seeing more of this Amelia lately. Rika, Ganymede, Jogun, and Lulu right in the beginning. And the Molly there. So it looks like they're not... Sorry, guys. I know a lot of people, guys got to nerf Lulu. Counter's got to nerf Lulu. If they put Lulu here, I don't think Lulu's getting a nerf anytime soon. So I think they want her to be that strong. But I just thought it was interesting that it's actually units that we see in RTA. And we overshot, for whatever reason, we overshot the thing by pressing page down. So this is something that I want to note. I think probably a lot of people not paying too much attention to it. They're like, oh, first pick, okay, whatever. And also you can see the recent deck of people that you're potentially teaming up with. So this first pick thing, this might be... Comptos may have done this specifically instead of giving someone a random first pick. There is a thing, if you guys have played Overwatch, I haven't played Overwatch in forever, right? But there's a thing that Overwatch used to do, or probably still does, I don't know, where you can choose to queue as a certain class to reduce the queue time. Because everyone's trying to queue for like the fun damage dealer classes. Not as many people wanted to queue for the support classes. So they're like, okay, for the people that want to queue for support classes, they would be getting into queues faster because they would be willing to go a less desirable class, and then the trade-off is faster queue time. So this could be something that you may want to consider if you're open to first pick or second pick. Do whatever could give you faster queue times, unless you're super strong. You're like, I definitely need first pick all the time. So that could be something to take into consideration, just like how they do it in other games. Stupid partners can hurt you. Oh, this is a good slide. So let's say that you are here. Also, pay attention. There's 4 Korean flags here, which we'll get to in a second. But I really didn't pay too much attention. I didn't really care too much about it at the beginning. I was like, okay, 4 Korean flags. Counter's Korean company. Okay. Didn't put too much thought into it. But there's actually something I want to mention later. So this team... Like, let's say you're trying to pick this Beast Rider team, so you're going for the speed lead, outspeed strip. You got some attack power. You got some shares, you got some defense race, you got some damage. Everything here is based on, well, not Chiwu, but everything here is based on speed, right? So then your ally comes in with a Leo. So also there's some questions as to how some of these passives are going to work. I think some of these passives are supposed to work one way, supposed to work another way, but this could potentially be very dangerous if, for example, you queue up randomly with a Chinese bot. Now, it's not going to be ranked for any or any goodies to get for right now. It's just for fun right now, just to play the content, and I'm sure ultimately it's going to be ranked or whatever. But for right now, so for right now, it's just like this. You're probably not going to have, Chinese bots, because we know Chinese bots are a thing. If you've been playing RTA, you know that Chinese bots are a thing. Or even if you haven't been playing, you know Chinese bots are a thing. So if you queue up with a random and it's a bot and you pick your speed team, I mean, you don't pick in this order, but you pick, like, you pick, and then the opponent picks, and then your ally picks 2, and then the opponent second team picks 2, and then you go and you pick 2. So that would be the turn order. So like this Leo might be picked like last, but this could potentially hurt you if you are playing with an ally that is just a random that's just eventually winds up botting. Eventually, like I said, eventually if it's ranked, when there's rewards, there's going to be people going to use bots to queue up and then pick random whatevers. This could wind up hurting you, which, I mean, we already talked about before that playing with random people is just going to be a definite massive disadvantage. So playing with random people that either don't understand what's going on, or also playing with random people that are bots, could wind up being very nasty, and more harm, doing more harm than good. So here's another thing that, this slide's gonna take forever. Get ready, guys. So here's the thing that I wanted to mention. Let's say all the teams are trying to outspeed each other, right? So you got a Chiwu speed lead. He's on Swift, and then you got the Ganymede fast on Violent to come after that. Everything else is fast on like Violent and Despair, whatever. Like let's say Rika's on Despair. It really doesn't matter, right? You got this is on Swift. This is on Swift. Let's say you guys can see my pointer, right? We see this is on Swift. This is on Swift, and this is on Swift. So let's just assume that all those units are on Swift, right? So everyone's trying to outspeed each other. Everyone's like going fast and aggressive. What happens? Okay, so let's see what's here. So if one speed lead gets through, like let's say for example of this team of allies, you have Chiwu band and you have Triana band. Well, then you still have a 33 speed lead for both teams because the speed leads apply to both teams. So the Chiwu get banned, but you still have, this is going to be, if this is on Swift, this is still going to outspeed, and it's still going to strip something, and it's still going to trap something in a scroll, right? So you still have a speed lead there, and then you still potentially could outspeed with the Ganymede because you got a 33 speed lead. Maybe you outspeed the Swift runes with your super fast Ganymede base speed, etc., right? But you still have a speed lead. What if both the speed leads are banned? That's the question. What if both the speed leads are banned? Because that's, I think, the better strategy, right? What if both the speed leads are banned? Then your opponent comes in, and he's gonna take turn 1. He's gonna CC. He's gonna kill you over here. And over here. So, okay, well, if both of your speed leads are banned on this, because you have 2 speed leads on this side, what if both the speed leads are banned on this side, but wait, there's 3 speed leads. There's Ciara's speed lead, there's a Water Ryu speed lead, and there's a Nephthys speed lead. So you can't both ban, because this player is going to ban something from this side, this player is going to ban something from this side. So either way, if you have 2 speed leads, both of them can get banned. Right? Because it's not like normal RTA where, bring 2 speed leads and then you still get 1 through. This is, you bring 2 speed leads and both of them can get banned, and then you have 0 speed leads and you don't outspeed with anything. So I think that the meta may be eventually 3 speed leads, because then if you ban 2, you still have a speed lead. Right? So we still have the Ciara, we still have the Nephthys, and we still have the Water Ryu, or even just one team using a speed lead, or one team choosing 2 speed leads, and one team not even worrying about speed lead, going like attack lead or crit lead or HP lead or something, right? Or accuracy lead. So I think that we'll either see something like 3 speed leads or a team with 2 speed leads, because 2 speed leads can't get banned. So I think that's probably going to be more likely. The more I think about this, the more I'm like, yeah, we don't actually need 3 speed leads on one team, or on one side. One team of players. That it's best to just have one player pick 2 speed leads and the other player just probably not even have to worry about picking a speed lead, because you get a speed lead regardless. There's also more information on how speed leads work if you have a fire one and you have just a regular speed lead. It works kind of like raids, and that's a good way to think about this. Is like, this is basically RTA plus raids at the same time. So if we think about like, how would this dynamic work? Well, how does it work in raids? It probably works like that. The interesting thing is, how is Leo going to work? So I'm curious to see Leo's dynamic, and I'm curious to see dynamics of some things like, for example, Antares or like the Dark Horus. I'm curious to see how exactly they work. Contra's like, we're curious too. We don't know. We didn't test it. I'm sure they tested it. But I'm just curious to see how those actually wind up working overall. But I think it's probably going to be the best idea to have one player pick 2 speed leads rather than 2 different players picking 1 speed lead each. So that's why it's important to play with someone that you are friends with and that you talk to and you have a strategy beforehand. So how will passives work? 2v2 RTA is a mashup of R5 and RTA. Consider how passives work. This is basically what I just said. I already a little bit ahead of myself. We can extrapolate how they would likely work in 2v2 RTA. So I think we have... Oh, another Jewbagel 30-minute explanation. Okay, so actually, I think we're mostly done with this. Okay, so let's say let's say your enemies. Actually, I didn't even put enemies. Maybe I wanted to or whatever. Let's say we are hitting. Let's say the enemies are hitting this team. So Ragdoll's passive comes into effect if they're hitting this team. This is at least how I am assuming or assuming that this works. Very similar to how it would work in R5, is that the Diana passive is not going to activate. The Triana passive is not going to activate and save these things on this team. It's only going to work for the things on this team. So if I'm hitting this team, if I'm hitting like, by the way, this is a Chroma Ragdoll. I've seen people do this too. It's kind of funny. Some of you guys realize why that's funny. This is just like a kind of an annoying LD5 team, but yeah, the less chance to crit, and then also it just basically nullifies the Ragdoll. But yeah, if you hit this team over here, what I feel is going to be the way it works is kind of like how it works in R5, is that the Diana passive and the Triana passive are not going to activate from hitting this team. And then also, in that same token, if the enemies are hitting this team, then the Ragdoll passive is not going to work. But I guess we'll see some of these things. Again, because I still do have some questions about some of these. But this is just how I presume that this is going to work for that, kind of based on how R5 works and based on some of the other things that they've mentioned. So these slides are out of order, but it really doesn't matter. We can talk about this first. I just thought that this was supposed to be at the end. I thought I put this at the end. So it's not going to be cross-server, at least at first. So Compto has stated this themselves, which I did not know. I thought that only your ally was supposed to be on the same server and your opponents could be wherever. But apparently, like, you can only you only battle people on your server. So if I'm on global server, I'm not going to be able to fight people from Asia server or Europe server with this 2v2 RTA. I can only fight people on my same server. And I think a lot of people had this misconception already, like I did, is like, as long as your ally is on the same server, then your opponents can be whatever. But apparently that's not. This is what Comtois themselves said. A rep from Comtois said it's not going to be cross-server. It's just going to be people on the same server. And it's just maybe eventually it'll be cross-server. And that's what I think it's going to be, is that eventually it's going to be crossover. But for just right now, as the testing is going, is just going to be people from the same server. And then when they roll it out as a full-fledged feature, because this is kind of like we're going to kind of get the beta version of it for the most part. There's no rewards or no leaderboards or anything like that. So when there are leaderboards and rewards, I'm sure that it will be based. I'm sure that it will be server versus server, and you can queue up with whoever from wherever. But yeah, I just wanted to mention this because it seemed like, you can team up with a random summoner of the same server via quick battle function or with a friend or guild member, but you're not, like, I'm not going to be able to fight, like, say, Shizo on another server. Well, I mean, I have accounts on multiple servers, so I can, but, I'd have to be on, like, my alt to do that, right? So I just wanted to mention that. So this is something. So I think a lot of people are going to get bummed out about this because a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, I'm going to already mentally preparing for, like, doing things with someone from a different server. But apparently that is not the case. So this is what I think is actually going to happen in 2v2 RTA. So we are going to see, since you don't have to hit the person directly in front of you, you can hit whoever, we are going to see things like this. So there's fast aggressive teams on both of these players, right? There's a speed lead and a strip, and then there's these two are usually on violent. We got some CC, we got some defense breaks, some decreased attack age, some increased cooldowns, etc., etc. We got some bombs, we got some damage, we got fast aggressive damage on both of these teams. The opponents One of them is going to be easier to take out than the other. This one is squishier. This one also has more of a threat potential than this one. This one's just more kind of like a stall team, right? So going after this one is the smarter choice. So this is what I think we're going to see is a bully system, is two fast aggressive teams go and snipe one of the opponents as soon as possible, and then it's just try to get a 2v1 situation as quickly as possible, which is kind of toxic. I feel like just the fast aggressive, I mean, fast aggressive is already the meta, but I feel like this is just going to be even more benefits to being fast and aggressive of, yeah, find out who the easier opponent to take down first is, go after that one, the squishy one that's more of a threat, because these things have defense breaks and more damage potential. This is basically just, you know, some additional damage, some sustain, things like that. So it's definitely easier to take this one out first. So I think that's what's going to happen is if you have a team like this, you're just going to get stomped into oblivion at first, and then the opponent's going to and then they're going to just 2v1 team up on the tankier, more sustained stall team. I don't see any reason that this would not be the case. And this is kind of what I'm afraid of, and this is kind of why I think it's going to be very toxic to actually do it like that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You guys like fun? That's exactly what I wanted. So yeah, I'm basically just sucking all the fun out of all of 2v2 RTA. Like, you're gonna get bullied. You're not gonna be able to play with people on different servers like you think you are, or at least at first, right? At least at first. So random queue versus guildies, and this is actually the last slide. Random queuing will most likely be an absolute nightmare with very little strategy, just like R5. Right? If you're trying to R5 with like just a random person, they're like, bringing in Camila to R5, bringing in Wusa, and you're like, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to team up with you. Why? Why did I team up with you? And then you can't leave. I mean, or you could leave and then you take a loss. What's going to happen there? Right? I mean, like, what's going to happen when it's actually ranked? Because eventually it's going to be ranked. What's going to happen when your ally just stops playing, just walks away, and then you're like, great, I'm just screwed. So, yeah, that's why randos is not going to be, it's just going to be a total nightmare. Just like in any game, just like in any PvP game, any team-based game, most likely be more toxic. Same with any team-based, because this is not just the Summoner's War thing. This is like PvP in any game where you're playing with randos. And then queuing with friends, guildies, Discord chat will always give you a significant strategic advantage and allow you to team up against a target early on. So this is going to be the thing, is fast, aggressive, get on Discord with your friends, and that's how you win. You can't just like play casually and queue with randoms, because you're gonna get stomped like at least 3/4 of the time you're gonna get stomped. This is gonna be, you have to take this is like a serious kind of thing. Get on Discord. I'm not getting on Discord. I don't want to be on Discord. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. I just wanted to give you my thoughts for all of this for 2v2 RTA. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, again, it's not out yet. I was extrapolating. I actually took a bit of time doing like the pictures on all these things over here. So I hope you guys enjoy it, right? But anyway, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on things, because I've been thinking about how this is actually going to play out. I mean, it could be fun, but I think there's going to be a lot of toxicity we have to get over first. There's a lot of opportunity for pain. Really is. Anyway, that's it for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you as always in the next one.